The whole saloon went silent when Vivian Hart stood beside Clara and laughed. "Caleb," she said, lifting her pretty chin, "tell this town the truth. Tell them you would never marry a woman like her." Clara stood near the stove with flour on her sleeves and tears in her eyes. Men who had mocked her leaned forward. Women covered their mouths. Even the sheriff stopped breathing for a moment. Caleb Wade looked at Vivian, then at Clara. Then he did something nobody in Dry Creek expected. But to understand why that moment shook the whole town, you must first know how Clara Bell arrived at Wade Ranch with nothing but a torn carpetbag, a blue ribbon, and a heart the world had nearly broken. Before the story begins, tell me where you are listening from. If this story touches your heart, like it, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you have ever been judged before people knew your story, I would be honored to hear your experience. The stagecoach dropped Clara Bell at Dry Creek just before sunset. Dust rolled across the road like smoke. The church bell rang once in the distance. Horses stood tied outside the saloon, flicking their tails at flies. Clara stepped down slowly, holding one carpetbag in both hands. Her dress was clean, but faded. Her shoes were worn thin. Around her wrist was a small blue ribbon her mother had tied there years before. The driver tossed her bag down and said, "End of the line, ma'am." Clara nodded. "Thank you kindly." The first laugh came from two men sitting on the wooden porch of the general store. One of them leaned back in his chair and said, "Well now, that stagecoach brought us a whole harvest." The other man laughed so hard he slapped his knee. Clara kept walking. She had heard worse in San Antonio. She had heard worse from her own cousins after her father died and the family house was sold. They said she ate too much, moved too slow, and would never find a husband or honest work. When the hotel kitchen let her go, not because she could not cook, but because the owner said guests did not want to see a woman shaped like trouble, Clara packed her few things and took the first stagecoach north. She had heard Wade Ranch needed kitchen help. That was all she had. At the edge of town, she stopped outside Pike's boarding house, a narrow building with yellow curtains and a porch that sagged in the middle. An older woman with gray hair stood sweeping dust from the steps. "You Clara Bell?" the woman asked. "Yes, ma'am. I'm Martha Pike. I sent word about the ranch job." Martha looked Clara over, not cruelly, but carefully. "Can you cook?" "Yes, ma'am." "Can you rise before dawn?" "Yes, ma'am." "Can you keep your tongue steady when men act foolish?" Clara almost smiled. "I have had practice." Martha's face softened. "Good. You'll need it at Wade Ranch." They left for the ranch in an old wagon as the sky turned orange. The road stretched past dry grass, cattle fences, and low hills. Wind pushed dust against Clara's cheeks. Martha held the reins with strong hands. "Caleb Wade owns the place," Martha said. "A quiet man, hard man, but not wicked." "What made him hard?" Clara asked. Martha stared at the road. "A woman." Clara said nothing. "Vivian Hart," Martha continued. "Prettiest thing this county ever saw. Caleb loved her like a fool loves sunrise. Bought land, built a house, planned a wedding. Then she ran off with a banker's son from Abilene." Clara looked toward the dark shape of the ranch in the distance. Martha lowered her voice. "Since then, Caleb keeps people at arm's length. Hires hands, pays fare, says little. He does not laugh. He does not dance. And he does not trust women who smile too much." "I don't smile too much," Clara said softly. Martha glanced at her. "Maybe that will help." When they reached Wade Ranch, Clara saw a wide gate leaning between two cedar posts. Beyond it stood a weathered house, a barn, a corral, and a line of cattle moving like shadows under the fading light. A man stood by the fence, tall and still. Caleb Wade wore a black hat, dusty boots, and a gun belt faded from years of sun. His face was sharp, with tired eyes that looked like they had forgotten how to rest. Martha climbed down. "Caleb, this is Clara Bell." Caleb looked at Clara, then at the carpetbag in her hand. "You worked kitchen before?" he asked. "Yes, sir." "You understand ranch hands eat heavy?" "Yes, sir." "You understand I pay for work, not excuses?" Clara swallowed the sting in her throat. "I brought no excuses with me." For the first time, Caleb's eyes changed. Not warm, not kind, just less cold. Martha hid a small smile. Caleb nodded toward the house. "Kitchen is through the back, you start before dawn." One of the ranch hands near the barn whispered loud enough for Clara to hear, "Hope the flour lasts." Another laughed. Caleb turned his head. "Tom." The laughing stopped. "You got something to say it where I can hear." The hand looked down. No, boss. Clara looked at Caleb, surprised. He had not defended her with kindness. He had done it with command. Still, for one small second, the shame in her chest loosened. That night, Clara stood alone in the ranch kitchen. The stove was cold, the shelves were dusty. A cracked jar of beans sat near the window. On the table lay an old tin cup, a dull knife, and a folded piece of paper half hidden under a flour sack. Clara reached for it, thinking it was a recipe, but it was not. It was a letter. The writing was faded, but one line was clear. If Caleb ever learns what Vivian did, Wade Ranch will never be the same. Clara froze. Behind her, a floorboard creaked. Caleb's voice came from the doorway, low and sharp. "Who told you to touch that?" Clara's fingers tightened around the faded letter. Caleb stood in the doorway with one hand near his belt, not reaching for his gun, but close enough to remind her he was a man who trusted no one. "I am sorry," Clara said quickly. "I thought it was a recipe." Caleb crossed the kitchen in 3 steps and took the paper from her hand. His jaw worked like he was biting back words. "That letter is none of your concern." "No, sir," Clara whispered. He folded it with care, but Clara noticed something strange. His hand trembled. Not much. Just enough to show the letter had wounded him before. Caleb tucked it inside his coat. "You came here to cook. Do that, and we will have no trouble." Then he turned and left. Clara stood alone in the dim kitchen, listening to his boots fade down the hall. She wanted to cry, but she did not. Crying had never changed a cruel room. So she rolled up her sleeves, stirred the cold ashes in the stove, and started working. Before sunrise, the ranch smelled of hot biscuits, salt pork, coffee, and fried potatoes. The hands came in tired and hungry. One by one, they stopped talking. Tom, the man who had laughed at her the night before, took one bite of biscuit and stared at his plate. "Well," he muttered, "I reckon I spoke too soon." Clara kept her eyes on the stove. Biscuits do not hold grudges. A few men chuckled. Even Caleb paused near the doorway with his coffee cup in hand. He did not smile, but he took a second biscuit. That was the first small crack in the wall around him. Days passed. Clara worked hard. She rose before dawn. She fed the ranch hands. She patched torn shirts. She helped Martha gather herbs near the creek. When a young calf got stuck in the mud, Clara was the first one to hear it crying. She ruined her dress pulling it free, but she laughed when the calf sneezed mud all over her apron. Caleb saw it from the corral. He said nothing, but later that evening, a clean blanket appeared outside Clara's room. No note, no explanation, just kindness from a man who did not know how to offer it with words. Slowly, the ranch changed. The men stopped laughing when Clara entered. They started asking for her peach cobbler. They listened when she spoke. Even Tom began carrying water for her without being asked. But the town of Dry Creek did not change so easily. One Saturday, Martha took Clara into town for flour, coffee, and sewing thread. Clara wore her best brown dress and tied the blue ribbon around her wrist. She tried to feel brave. Then the saloon doors opened. Vivian Hart stepped onto the porch. She was beautiful in a way that made people turn their heads. Her yellow dress was clean as buttercups. Her gloves were white. Her red hair shone under the sun. Beside her stood a thin man in a gray suit with a banker's watch chain across his vest. Martha stopped walking. Clara felt the air change. Vivian's eyes moved over Clara from head to toe. Then she smiled the kind of smile that never reached the heart. "So, this is the woman cooking for Caleb now?" Clara said nothing. Vivian stepped closer. My, he must be desperate." A few people laughed. Martha snapped, "Careful, Vivian." But Vivian only tilted her head. "Tell me, Miss Bell, does Caleb pay you by the plate or by the pound?" The laughter grew louder. Clara felt heat crawl up her neck. Her hand moved to the blue ribbon on her wrist. Before she could answer, Caleb's voice cut through the street. "That is enough." He had ridden in quietly and now sat tall on his horse, his face dark beneath his hat. Vivian's smile widened. "Caleb, still playing the wounded cowboy?" Caleb climbed down. "Why are you here?" Vivian glanced at the banker beside her. "Business." The gray-suited man pulled a folded paper from his coat. "Mr. Wade, I represent the holder of an old note tied to your land. Payment is due by Monday morning." Caleb went still. Martha whispered, "Lord help us." Clara looked from the banker to Caleb. The hidden letter flashed in her mind. Vivian stepped closer to Caleb and lowered her voice, but not enough. You can save your ranch, Caleb. All you have to do is stop pretending that woman belongs beside you. Clara's heart dropped. Caleb looked at Clara, then at the paper in the banker's hand. And for the first time since Clara met him, the cold cowboy looked truly afraid. By Monday morning, every soul in Dry Creek knew Caleb Wade might lose his ranch. Men gathered outside the saloon. Women stood near the general store, whispering behind gloved hands. Clara walked beside Martha with her head low, but she did not hide. Her blue ribbon was tied around her wrist, bright against her plain brown dress. Inside the saloon, Vivian Hart stood near the stove like she owned the room. Caleb stood across from her, holding the debt paper. His face was hard, but his eyes were tired. Vivian smiled when Clara entered. "Well," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "the cook came to watch a ranch fall." Some men laughed. Caleb turned sharply. "Leave her out of this." Vivian stepped closer to Clara. "Why? She is the reason you look foolish. A man like you could still have a fine wife. A pretty wife. A wife who brings money, land, and respect." Then Vivian faced the room. "Caleb," she said, "tell this town the truth. Tell them you would never marry a woman like her." The saloon went quiet. Clara felt every eye on her body. Every cruel word she had ever heard came back. Lazy, useless. Too much. Not enough. Her fingers touched the blue ribbon, and for a moment she almost stepped back. Then Caleb moved. He walked to Clara, took off his hat, and stood beside her. "I would marry a woman like Clara Bell before I ever looked twice at a woman like you again." A gasp moved through the room. Vivian's face changed. "You would lose your ranch for her?" Caleb looked at Clara, not Vivian. "A ranch is land. A good woman is shelter." Clara's eyes filled with tears. But Vivian was not finished. She snatched the paper from the banker's hand. "Then sign it away, Caleb. By noon, Wade Ranch belongs to us." That was when Martha Pike stepped forward. "No," Martha said. "It does not." Everyone turned. Martha pulled a weathered letter from inside her shawl. "My late husband kept records for Wade Ranch. Before he died, he told me Vivian had carried papers between Caleb's father and the bank. I did not understand until Clara told me what she saw written on that old letter." Caleb stared at her. "Martha?" Martha handed the letter to the sheriff. "The debt paper Vivian brought today has Caleb's father's mark on it, but that man was already buried 2 days before the date written here." The sheriff's face tightened. The banker went pale. Vivian whispered, "That proves nothing." Clara spoke then, soft but clear. "It proves enough to ask why a dead man signed a debt." The room fell silent again. The sheriff took both papers and studied them by the window. "Vivian Hart, this note will be held until the judge rides through next month. Until then, no one touches Wade Ranch." Vivian's beauty twisted into anger. "You believe her? A kitchen woman?" Caleb's voice was low. "No. They believe the truth." Vivian looked around for help, but no one moved. The same people who had laughed at Clara now looked ashamed. At last, Vivian stormed out, her yellow dress flashing through the saloon doors like a flame going into dust. Caleb turned to Clara. "I am sorry it took me so long to see you." Clara wiped her eyes. "Most people do." He took the blue ribbon gently between his fingers. "Your mother give you this?" Clara nodded. "She must have known you were strong." Clara gave a small, trembling laugh. "She said it was to remind me not to believe cruel people." Caleb looked around the saloon, then back at her. "Then let me say it plain, where every cruel person can hear." He took Clara's hand. "Clara Bell, if you will have a cold cowboy with a stubborn heart, I would be proud to call you my wife." This time, nobody laughed. Outside, the desert wind moved through Dry Creek, soft and warm. And for the first time in many years, Caleb Wade smiled like a man who had finally come home.